Hi, this is Erin Folks with CVIintervention.com, and today I just wanted to go over some ideas of how you can create various items for your child with cortical visual impairment that can be colorful. They can be red on black, red on white, or whatever color preference they have, and also some items that you can use of how you can create items to use on a light box, and also using laminating paper and getting some different colored backgrounded objects, which I'll explain that in a minute because that's hard to explain without it being super confusing. But to start off, I cut some pieces of black and white paper. They're just slightly under a 4x6, just because I'm going to show an example for you how to do something in a 4x6 laminating sheet. I use for all my stuff. I use Scotch thermal laminating pouches. You can get them in a bunch of different sizes. I do have a link below where you can actually get a machine and all the different sizes of laminating paper to find what suits you best, especially when I show you the light box aspect of it, or your iPad or your phone. These different sizes are really nice for that, to accommodate whatever light source you have behind the object. So what I did is I cut a black and white piece of paper just slightly under a 4x6, and then what I did is, so say for example we're working on shapes, so I just have here a black, a white sheet, cut out the shape, and then what you can do if you don't necessarily want to use tissue paper or see-through paper, tracing paper. I have, for example, this red that you can see through. Not like you can see through it when I do that, but there you go. That you can see through. That can be put behind this, and a light source can be put behind it, and the cardstock keeps the light from coming through except through this area where the triangle is exposed, and it gives it that little bit of red color. You can get paper like this in various colors. Tissue paper is probably your best bet and cheapest option. This particular paper is more used like what they use with weddings, how they have that clear piece of paper that folds over your announcement for those who get really fancy. So this particular paper is a little bit expensive, but just something see-through. Even tissue paper would work. But what I do after that is, which I didn't cut a piece of tissue paper to size, so I'm just going to use this red triangle as an example. But here you have your laminating paper, and you just stick it in here, and what I did with the tissue paper is I wouldn't necessarily cut the tissue paper in the size of a triangle. I would just cut a square and then tape it just a little bit so it stays put, and then when you go through and you laminate this, you know, on the back side it will have a little bit of that red paper, but on the front side it will just be a nice object like this, and you can either do it with black or white. I have some completed things here. I think I have a white one. So I have some completed ones where I used yellow see-through paper, and then I have red see-through paper, and you can see slightly, even just from doing that with the light in the back of the camera, how that octopus really lights up, how the bear just really lights up, and it looks really nice. And something that I liked with this aspect or this size, say you're traveling and a light box might be awkward or you forgot it, you can come here with your phone and create that nice shine. You'll have to mess with it a little bit. I'm showing you an example, but more just wanted to show you how you could utilize the light from your phone. Here I just have the light behind it, and as you're working with your child, you obviously don't want the light to shine directly in their eyes, and so as you're working with them, you'll want to be careful that way. But just an idea of using how you can use the phone as a light source. And I believe you can, on your phone you can even change the power of the light. So I would probably put it on something a little less power than what I just had. And with these smaller light cards, you can utilize your phone in that way. But I just wanted to show you some examples of what I did and that you could do. I was actually looking for a way to try and find an option that was a little bit more affordable for parents, to where you could just buy these things completed. But I found that I didn't have an option, and for me to actually make it and then send it out to you, I mean, it just would be ridiculously expensive, and would be more cost effective for you to just make things like this by yourself. I'm showing you these cards, but I'm actually going to come here. So, I have the machine, the link that I'm sending you to, or that I have below, isn't to this exact machine, but it's a laminating machine. But it comes with all the different sizes of laminating paper. That way you don't have to go looking for all of those things. And then two, I also use, you can see how these are cut really nice. I use a Cricut machine, the Cricut Explorer 2. It's a little bit spendy, but especially when you're wanting to do stuff like this for your kids, your kids with a visual impairment, I think it's really cost effective, because you can just do all sorts of cool stuff. I mean, here we've got the ABCs. I did shapes. Now you can see on these particular ones, like I just have the items, and what you can do here is, as you're working with your child with different colors, I mean, I could have a black piece of paper and, come here and work with, that yellow on black, because they can see that. It also, to get your child's attention, you can, if they need that little flash, you can kind of get their attention that way. And then have your paper down, and you can go through, let's say, the alphabet with them, or something they can play with. I mean, they can pick these up physically. But also what you can do is, you're trying to help your child identify things on different colors and things like that, is you can use different colored backgrounds, and you're not having to make, print off 1,000 different things. It's just, you have the one shape and then, or letter, or whatever it is, and you're going on different backgrounds and helping your child learn other colors in that way. So this is just an example. This one's yellow. Obviously, the letter can be any color too. I know red is your typical color that a lot of kids with CVI see, red and yellow. But, I've heard parents say pink, blue, you know, it's just finding your child's preference to start out with, and then slowly introducing these other colors to them. And that's what I like about the laminating paper is it just really allows you to play with different backgrounds as your child is learning how to process color. Also too, I'll show you here, you know, I have these where they're various colors, and so that's where you can start messing with color on color, you know, giving them two tones of blue, or getting, you know, orange on there. Something to make note, contrasting colors are black and white, red and green, blue and orange, purple and yellow. So I know for black and white, that tends to just be more of like a magnet to the eyes. It's not necessarily a child is seeing it and being like, oh, I know what that is. It's more just because the two colors are so contrasting, it just attracts the eyes more than allowing for comprehension and development. But for some kids that works. So I'm not saying don't do those things, but just as a note, when you're working colors on colors, your more contrasting colors might be a little later down the road as far as being able to process what they're seeing with those things. And this again is where the Cricut comes into play, because I mean, I can do all sorts of things. I've got shapes, I've done different colors, you know, I've got numbers, and you can do them in red too. So you're even getting the shine in the camera. And then from these light cards that I had made, I actually took the cutouts and then put them onto their own, into their own laminating pouch, so I could work with those different colored backgrounds. But I wanted to show you here what this looked like with a light pad. And this one's a big light pad. So as far as these images go, you know, if I'm turning this on, let's see. And what I like about this light pad too is you can get different frequencies of light. And so you can see that going through, you know, the camera trying to adjust for the light. But, you know, that's a very low setting, and then it can just get higher and higher. I also have a link below for a light pad that has the adjustable light. For some kids with cortical visual impairment, they just need more light to be able to see, and then as their vision develops, you can do a little less light, but sometimes more light is helpful. In this particular case, you can see where my cards are smaller than the light pad. So what I would actually do is you know, black this out so that, and there's that example of how I just created, you know, I just did a square piece of the see-through paper and put it on the back versus like trying to cut out that exact shape and fit it in. But what I would do is black this out so that you can see here as we're going through the different, like, sure, I can see the yellow and the red, but this white on black, because it's a contrasting color, a child's more likely to see this square and to see this square than to really be paying attention to the yellow and the red or the blue or whatever color that you have there. But don't rule it out. If your child needs more light, then, you know, that might be something that works for them. But just make note of that as you're working with a light pad, having this light white, having this white light come through as you're trying to work with some cards, it may be a little bit distracting. And also that's why I'm giving you the link to laminating, a laminating machine that comes with all different sizes of laminating pouches, because with this particular one, you know, it would be better to do a larger, and I'm going to leave it on its side so you can keep it all in the frame, but it would be better to do a larger picture. So as you're, you know, going through these different adjustable lights, let's see, that that as you're going through the adjustable lights, you know, just the lights coming through and you're changing the brightness here. With these particular ones, again, I did it with the Cricut. I made it so I could either have the red elephant on a white background or on a black background, because even just this by itself is something fun to play with and hold and manipulate. And you can see both sides. This was a little tricky putting together. Again, that's why I'm just showing you different ideas and things that you can make, because it's just not cost effective for me or for you to make things like this for you. So you can really utilize the multi-side if you want to, even with those smaller cards. And you can see how, you know, that comes through. Now up here, I would just have a black strip covering that, because the eyes are going to be more attracted to this contrast of color than to the red on the black. And that's just, I mean, that's just simple art and things of that nature. I'm an artist by nature, and so these contrasting colors, they're called contrasting colors because they're the most, you know, they pop to the eye. And it's what we see. And so even with really young babies, when they're using, you know, they see black and white first, well, that's just the easiest thing to see. But as you're working with a visual impairment, just because they're being attracted to this contrasting color doesn't mean they're necessarily comprehending it. Your color, particularly the color red, is the lowest light frequency that we can see, and so probably the easiest for the eyes to see and start comprehending, especially on a black background, because you're not having the reflection of light coming back into the eyes. Let me turn this off here. When you're using white is reflecting all color, where black doesn't reflect any color. So on this side, the only thing being reflected back into the eyes is the red, you know, whereas, you know, the red's being reflected back into the eyes, but so are all the other colors, and so that in and of itself can be a little distracting. But every child with cortical visual impairment is in a different stage, in a different phase, according to Dr. Roman. But also too, you can keep in mind, you know, here I've got a yellow one, which is the same, and I did do black on white, but so you know, you kind of got white on white there. But you know, I would probably stay away from doing black on white and stick to more with a color. So just some tips there. So I'm gonna wrap this up, but that's just what the few things I wanted to share with you. Again, just some awesome things that you can do, and I'll be doing more videos like this to give you tips and tricks on things that you can make for your child. Again, there's a few links below. They're affiliate links to Amazon. So there is a little kickback to me, but you don't necessarily have to get those exact items. A lot of you probably already have the light pad as well. So if you want more if you want more technique on, here I'm just showing you how to make things, but there's actually visual techniques that you can do to start enhancing vision and things of that nature. And so you can go to CVIintervention.com, and there I have some free ebooks you can sign up for. Actually has these animals in there, and also there's just different classes that you can sign up for. I do monthly webinars showing vision techniques, and so different vision techniques, giving you 30 days worth of exercises and things of that nature to help you work with your child. There's a private Facebook group, so you get that type of customer support. But I'm super excited to be more involved with helping you and your child in their vision journey. If you have any suggestions or things that you'd like to see made, just email me at helpmychildsee@gmail.com, and I would love to hear your suggestions. Subscribe and share this YouTube channel with your friends. Honestly, I just want your child to have the educational resources they need to start learning, and they're just not as prevalent as things for typical children. And so that's my ultimate goal, is creating a website for you that has resources you can use, free resources, paid resources that you can use to help your child see and reach their fullest vision potential. And so I will see you another time. I'm going to try and do videos weekly, and so next week I'll have another video and we'll go from there. Thank you.